What up, people? Happy Wednesday. Welcome. It's Kamari Ellis, the Finance Rebel. This week, this day, we are doing our Wealthy Wednesday segment. I actually owe folks a couple apologies. I am 2 days delayed on my daily news, but guess what? I'll be back tomorrow, brand spanking new. So I'll be here covering the news. We'll cover the news a little bit tonight as well. But for the most part, I'm just here to answer your questions, kick it with y'all, see what's going on. I need a break from doing taxes. So any questions you might have about taxes, stocks, business, economics, it's all open. Throw it up on the table. Teacher 1130. What's up, Henry? How are you, brother? So what's new, y'all? It's new, y'all. There's a lot going out there. There's a couple clips I wanna play. I want to talk about as we get into things as well. Be sure to put your questions in the comment section. Make sure you put a Q in front of them, right? Because sometimes our folks, as they come in, as they start talking, as they start, fellowshipping with the community, some of the stuff gets mixed and mingled, and I have a hard time finding the questions. So put a Q in front of all the questions for me so I can find it quickly. All right, so today, my super producer Hayden is telling me I need to talk about the Fed Reserve, and especially the nominee that withdrew because of the terrorist Joe Manchin, the Democratic senator from West Virginia, who's always giving them problems. But also talk a little bit about Fed funds rates. The Fed has come through and actually officially dropped the hammer, but that should be no surprise to you all because I told y'all that a couple weeks ago. So we've been talking about the Fed Reserve raising interest rates. It's not a surprise at all. It's been on the wheels. It's actually overdue. It's very, very late, but it is here now. But there's some other things that are going on as well. We're starting to see mortgage rates rise in a major way. So we'll definitely talk about that as well. Do me a favor. If you're watching and you love the show, share it with someone who's interested in learning about financial education, increasing their overall financial IQs, so we can all as a community work together to increase the financial well-being of our community. So Shanta Bless One, welcome. Happy to see you this great Wednesday. All right, I see some of the folks are starting to come into the building. Kevin Garland's in the building. How are you, sir? Michael Dennis is in the building, bright and early. What's up, Mike? How you been, brother? What's up, Kevin? How are y'all feeling today? So, there's been something in my heart that I don't want to talk about, but I've been kind of holding it off. But maybe, just maybe, I'll talk about it today. I'll think about it. Are y'all interested in hearing what's been on my heart? But before we get to that, how y'all doing at the gas pump? I know everybody's been getting kicked with gas prices. Gas prices are up. But oil has actually been falling these last couple of days, even with the war still going crazy. Now, a lot of people are also speculating about so Kevin's over there eating goody good gumdrops. So I have to ask, are they really goody good drum drops or are they just the boring drum drops? Because they make all sizes, flavors, and colors these days. But some things that have been talking about on the national stage, international stage, is there's some speculation that China is going to sell oil in yuan versus to Saudi. There's also been some speculation that India is going to sell or buy oil from Russia as well. And I don't think any of those things are going to happen anytime soon. Now, why do I feel that way? I feel that way because let's start off with yuan. Well, let's start off with China buying yuan and oil prices, right? So yuan is China's currency, but the dollar is the currency that everybody buys oil with across the globe. So no matter where you are, it's always brought in US dollars. And again, everybody or anybody who has tried to buy oil in their own currency has met with an unpleasant demise. Likely the last two I can think of was Saddam Hussein and Muammar Gaddafi. Saddam Hussein from Iraq, Muammar Gaddafi from Libya. We both know how both of them wound up in the interim. So I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. People are saying that if China leaks up with Saudi and sell oil to them, it could happen. I don't see it happen, right? Because now this is where we get into the political side of things. This is where my political nerd comes out, right? So Saudi doesn't really want any smoke with the United States, and China doesn't really want any smoke with the United States, even though they do all kinds of things behind the scenes to do stuff to manipulate and to cause problems, but they don't want any direct onslaught smoke with the United States. Honestly, even Russia doesn't want any smoke behind the United States. I mean, again, there have been various news reports out of Russia with this whole Ukraine invasion that they have run out of food. They're running out of resources. They're requesting help from China with some of these resources. Oh, that's the other thing. Russia was requesting help from China in all of this. And again, if China gives direct help to Russia, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. So this is going to be interesting. And I saw just surfing around the interwebs as I was just getting ready for the show that somebody said, India is thinking about giving some help or aid to Russia as well. And I don't think that would happen either. Why? Because there's this little country that broke off from India called Pakistan, who has nuclear powers. And if that were to happen, the United States could potentially put more backing behind Pakistan than they do India. So this whole thing is a game of chess, sadly. And a lot of times these big wigs don't care about us regular common folks. And so you have to be engaged and up to what's going on. Don't let it control what's going on with you. Don't let it paralyze you, but just be aware. Just be aware. But like I was saying, I don't see the United States. I don't see India. I don't see India backing Russia or sending them resources either, because then that would potentially push the United States to get in league with Pakistan. And Pakistan and India do not get along. They do not get along as well. One day, I'll have to tell y'all a story where I mistakenly called a Pakistani lady Indian. And she was not happy at all. At all. I'll just say that she gave me the business. But if you know anything about the history of that region, you could kind of understand why. So, Reem Parker's in the building. Carl P is in the building. The business accountant is here. How are you? All right, so I see some people coming in. If you have any questions, comments, concerns about money as it relates to money, taxes, stocks, business, economics, it's all on the table. Throw it out there, throw your question in the chat, and I will be good to go, either giving you an answer, maybe a question, a follow-up question, or maybe some commentary on it. But go ahead and throw it in the chat. All right, so Kevin said he was eating the gummies good, and he's in good company, so he's good. All right. Handsome Wade Brody Jr., how are you? Welcome to the stream. Miss Edith is in the building. All right, Miss Edith is in the building, so that means we ready to go. We are ready to go. How you doing, Miss Edith? All right, so let's see. All right, so let's get going here. So, like I said, there's been something I've been wanting to talk about for a minute, and I've been steering away from this topic for a long time. But I'm going to share this clip with you. And this clip comes courtesy of my homeboy JT, Pocket Watching JT. He did a show, I want to say it was Sunday, with Tony the Closer. Now, if you're not familiar with any of these folks, JT Pocket Watcher is an accountant and financial advisor who has a booming, massive YouTube channel, right? He's taken YouTube by storm. He has a total reactionary channel. And he comments, is that even a word? He comments on a lot of shenanigans that are taking place here directly. Like, he calling folks out by name. Now, I comment on some of the issues as well. I am a talk about the issue, not the person type thing. But JT talks about both, and I actually appreciate his channel. I publicly have stated that. Some of my friends don't like the fact that I publicly stated that I appreciate his channel, but the reason why I appreciate his channel is because there are so many scammers, there are so many charlatans that are in our community that will come to us in the name of Black wealth, Black unity, Black nationalism, whatever you want to call it, but the only thing they're thinking about is their own dollar. So here's a clip from JT and Tony the Closer that I want to talk about a little bit. And so let's get into it. Let's get into
it. That leverage shit like that, you know, whether it's Black trauma, whatever it is, and you see them standing in the forefront as if they're about the people, but they fake. And that's one of the things I realized just as I've been on this online platform is that these people are all about making money. It's not truly about Black unity. No. It's about either being seen or heard. It's about popularity, and it's about money.
We call them Hotep hustlers over here with Pocket Watching with JT. Hotep hustlers. They put on the mask and the costume of a dashiki and a kufi, but at the end of the day, they want your money the same way any white capitalist wants your money. That's it. The only issue that they have is they can only go to you. They can't take this BS to the majority culture.
So yeah, that was a clip. Again, that was a clip from JT and Tony the Closer. Now, what they're talking about, just to give you a little bit of context, and my apologies to the people and the YouTubes, I mean, not the YouTubes, on the Instagrams, right? You can't hear the stream. You can't see some of the clips that I'm sharing. So if you want to hear them, just come on over to the Finance Rebel on youtube.com. You'll find me over there. But I will do my best to articulate everything that's going through. But y'all saw that clip, right? So that clip, I was watching the clip. The clip was in reaction to another, let's say, large Black social media guru who tends to talk about tax issues quite often. If you want to see who the person is, and I might talk about the person at some point, but I won't usually talk about the person for various reasons. But they put out some information. They have been known to notoriously put out information that is false, misleading, and could lead folks to going to jail. But they put it out there as if it's like the come up, as if people were going to do better by this, as if, just I want to put this out there, right? As if the IRS, the FBI, the CIA, all the alphabet boys do not watch social media, do not watch social media heavily, but they keep putting this misinformation out there, and they're not a tax pro. They're not a lawyer. They're not a CPA. They're not an enrolled agent. They're not even a practicing tax accountant with no credentials, have never studied accounting, not on a real formal level, right? So it's interesting to see when these folks put these, and I'll play this clip again because I want y'all to hear this. It's interesting to see when these people put this stuff out here that they, one, have no idea what they're talking about, or two, really don't care, or three, they're just doing it for fame and celebrity, right? And so when you add those things up, one, don't know what they're talking about, two, don't care about what will happen to you as an individual, as a member of the community, or three, are only doing it for fame and the credit, or fame and celebrity. That adds up to something that's really, really dangerous, in my opinion, right? It doesn't add up to prosperity. It doesn't add up to wealth. And, you know, Tony the Closer, who's been very vocal about these things for quite some time, has been saying that every time these things happen in the Black community, it puts us back. Now, some people will say, you know, Tony is really only out for himself and he's using it to further promote himself. And that may well be true. But I will say this, all the things that he said, I agree with 1000%, because y'all don't get to sit on my end of the table when I have to deal with people who have IRS debt because they follow something somebody did. I can't tell you how many times I've run into people who have either started LLCs, trust, C Corps, S Corps, all in the name of some social media guru. And there's a whole lot of blame to go around. It's not just one person, right? But all of it, in my opinion, is because many of us as a community are chasing the get over quick, the get rich schemes, to be able to get over quickly, to not do the work, to take things. And yeah, I know people want to say, well, hard work isn't a guarantee for success and the working man is a sucker. Yeah, you can say all that. That's cool. That's fine. But here's the deal, right? I've told y'all many times, I was born in the 70s. I grew up in the 80s. So that means I lived through the crack era. I lived through a couple other eras as well, right? But that era was probably the time that I was most formidable, or not formidable. That's not the word I'm looking for. The word is impressionable, right? I was very impressionable. So I got to see all these things. I got to see all these people getting money fast, these luxury vehicles, these luxury cars. And people will say, well, that's the only way we can make money. And people were lulled into believing that. People were lulled into believing that that's the only way that they can make money. And so they fell for the trap. And people were legitimately, people I know that didn't want to harm anybody. They didn't want to harm, they just really wanted to make money. They weren't thinking about the long-term effects of these things. And yes, there are also people who didn't care at all and only wanted to get the money, right? So there's a couple of different things at play. But at the end of the day, no matter which way you went, right? Whether you didn't know better, whether you could only see the money, whether you were just truly ignorant, is that it left the community in a bad place. And so when I see all this bad information coming out, all these people that go after it, I mean, let's look at these EIDL loans, the PPP money that people falsified documentation on, and now are wondering when the Alphabet Boys are going to come knocking. Like, some people have gotten the knock already. Some people have gotten served, all because they're saying, oh, this is the way to get our reparations. But no, it's not. And sadly, there are a lot of people that are impressionable. Sadly, there are a lot of people that don't know any better. Sadly, there are people who, just like in the drug era, are distracted and attracted to the big gold chain, the fancy car, the nice clothing, the lavish trips, the nice looking eye candy, right? Young lady, young man, which way is going on now. JT's on now. Yeah, I believe JT stays on. JT stays on. Thank you, Ms. Edith. So hold on. John James has how to get in contact with me. John, you could always, let me see a quick way. Oh, text me. That's the best way to get me. Text me 215-974-0058. Again, 215-974-0058. You would join the text community, and I directly interact with those folks. All right. But again, a lot of us get distracted and maneuvered and lulled into these quote unquote get rich quick money schemes. And it always ends up bad. The only way to do it, in my opinion, is to find a good idea where you have a competitive advantage, exploit that advantage, and continue to exploit that advantage and work hard at that. That's the only way I see it, in my opinion. The only way I see it, how you want to truly get successful, how you really want to get money, as some of the youngins say. But coming out with these tax cheat schemes, ideas, just to, well, they call them loopholes, right? Just to try to get over for a couple of dollars. That's the same thing people thought they was doing when they were selling crack. And so all we doing is selling crack again. It's just digitized. And so how is that any good for our community when it was in 86, 87, 88 till it is right now in 2022? It's the same stuff. It's having the same outcome. I mean, y'all see the headlines of people who are getting locked up for PPP. And here's the thing, they're not even using the money to really empower themselves or the community, let alone their families or themselves, right? They're not using that money. They're putting money in to foreign designer cars. They're putting money into people who don't care about them, don't care about their family, and don't care about the community, but we keep playing into that. But I want to play that clip again, then we'll talk more about Fed Reserve. We'll talk some other things, and I'll definitely answer your questions as well, anything that you got.
You're the only victims they can have. So they're going to ride and roll over you as much as possible.
And there's so many people that leverage shit like that. You know, whether it's black trauma, whatever it is, and you see them standing in the forefront as if they're about the people, but they fake. And that's one of the things I realized just as I've been on this online platform is that these people are all about making money. It's not truly about black unity.
No.
It's about either being seen or heard. It's about popularity, and it's about money.
We call them Hotep hustlers.
Now, for the record, I hate the fact that JT calls him Hotep hustler. I hate the fact that the term Hotep has been hijacked by the online community. But I get it. I do. I consider myself part of the conscious community, but I do consider myself part of the conscious community that also sees what's going on today and looks at it from a practical standpoint. And I will say many times, not all times, but many times in the quote unquote conscious community, those folks that are dressed up in dashikis and garb and all kinds of things don't understand the current day situation that we're in right now. A lot of them. But you know what? There's folks who don't wear dashikis and are quote unquote Hotep hustlers who don't understand what's going on too. And they wear Timbs and jeans and they wear the regular hood uniform. So it's rough on all parts. It's rough on all parts. But I hate the fact that we bastardize the term Hotep.
Over here with Pocket Watching with JT. Hotep hustlers. They put on the mask and the costume of a dashiki and a kufi. But at the end of the day, they want your money the same way any white capitalist wants your money. That's it. The only issue that they have is they can only go to you. They can't take this BS to the majority culture.
Right. So what he says there, they can only come to us being us in the black community. They're not going to white folks with this. They're not going to non-black communities doing this. So that means they're preying on us. And again, this is why I love JT so much, is because he's calling them out, right? They should be, especially their repeat offenders. Now, if you're someone you got on and you just got caught in the moment, you talked about something that was whatever, yada, 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 and you catch yourself and you say, you know what? I was wrong. I retract that statement. I correct myself. That's cool. We all make mistakes. I have many a time have come on here live and said to y'all, my apologies. I misspoke. I said something. I have nothing. I am not above saying I'm sorry. I am not above saying that I got it wrong, y'all. And this is what it was supposed to do. But I also like to hang around with journalists too, right? And so the journalists, I'm a big fan of the journalist community, because when you go back and you look at some of our freedom fighters, right? Some of our biggest freedom fighters, they were journalists. So if we talk about Marcus Messiah Garvey, he was a journalist. If we talk about W.E.B. Du Bois, he was a journalist, right? If you look at the Nation of Islam, what did they have? They had the final call, journalism. So, and that was all for information so people could empower themselves. And so that's why I enjoy, why I appreciate and respect journalism, especially black journalists. By the way, I'm a board member of the Philadelphia Association of Black Journalists. And I have so much reverence for them. But I don't necessarily call myself a journalist, but I do try to adhere to things that are of a journalistic standard, like truth, like facts. Truth and facts matter. Truth and facts are important. So I do like to talk about those things in a factual manner and get facts so we can make a better way. We can't build a strong foundation on shaky ground. And lies and manipulation is always shaky ground. And so I would just say that when you're looking at some of these folks that are online, do me a favor, do your fact checking on everybody, including me, and say, hey, this isn't right, or can you explain this deeper? Because if you really want to be honest, like with some of the folks who are online, a lot of them don't answer your questions. A lot of them just give you the sizzle, to give you the fancy stuff. They do the shake. They are swaggy. They are what's the word I'm looking for? Y'all help me out, y'all. What's the word I'm looking for? They are all about trying to look a certain way, right? They want the look, but they don't want the thing. And at the end of the day, the thing is never materialism. But it seems like that's what we've come to, sadly. So listen, y'all know I can go on a rant all day long, but like I said, I'll come back and we'll talk about some of the questions we have. We can talk about any questions y'all might have. I see there's a question over on Instagram from the business accountant. We'll definitely get to that. Any questions about money, go ahead and throw them in the chat, and we will get at it, y'all. I'm not going to stay on too long. I got a bunch of work to do. Got clients knocking at my door, so I got to get some stuff done. But, you know, I always like to come and rap with y'all, the community, my neighbors, as I like to call, my virtual neighbors, as I like to call y'all, and see what's going on. Now, national gasoline prices, $4.30. How y'all making out in this gas shortage? How y'all making out? Things are a little rough. There's a lot of people going through some things. So yeah, I want to show y'all something real quick as we get going with the rest of our episode. Check this out.
Hey, ain't you okay, Q?
What's going on, my boy?
Man, oh my goodness, this motherfucker hard, bro.
Appreciate it, bro.
Hey, I salute you, bro. Hey, you be riding around the city going crazy, man. How you feel about the gas prices?
Oh, man, I mean, what you gonna just not put gas in the car? You know, it is what it is, man. Ain't no pressure on no gas, ever.
I mean, true. This shit getting high as hell, though, my boy.
Yeah, that's life, man.
All right, man, you be safe.
You too, my guy.
Be safe. I know this nigga ain't just put $1 in here, man.
$1, y'all. One whole dollar, that beautiful vehicle. Listen, it's getting real out here, y'all. It's getting real out here. Hopefully there will be some kind of resolution to come to the table soon as oil prices keep going. As we get into summer drive, gas prices typically go up during summer drive. Why? They have to shift over from wintertime gas to summertime gas. And because of EPA regulations and all the environmental regulations, they have to add other additives to the gas, which costs more money. And so the refiners charge more, and then us, the consumer, the end user, the gas driver, the gasoline user has to then pay more money too. So keep that in mind. All right. So the business accountant asks, how can I make more money? I believe that's my homegirl, Latoya Owens. So she's my tax sister. I would say more marketing. Marketing, I'm gonna tell y'all, I know I'm an accountant, but I love marketing. There's a lot of reasons why I love marketing, or I respect marketing when done properly, right? Marketing can be one of the greatest investments you could ever put your money into. And don't get so caught up into the word invest, right? But what I'm saying is you can put $1 into an investment, into investment/market, and you can make $10. I can't make that investing into a stock. And when I say put $1 and make 10, I'm talking about relatively quickly. A week, a month, a year. If you put $1 into something in a stock, it might take you years to do that. Now, every now and again, you might get it lucky. You might hit the jackpot, but that's usually not what's going to happen. But if you have a fine-tuned marketing program, you could really, really, really make some money quickly. But here's the thing. For all my business owners out there, I have a acronym I kind of call MOM, right? I call it MOM because it's, I haven't used this in a while, y'all. I call it marketing operations, and what's the last M? Marketing operations, and I got to come back to you. I'm having a brain freeze right now. marketing, operations, and I want to say it's mobility, but it's not mobility. But you need your marketing, right, to bring people in. You need your operations to fulfill it. Oh, marketing, operations, monetization. Marketing, operations, monetization, right? Yes, and miracles. Yes, Karen. What's up to Karen? Marketing, operations, and monetization, right? So you need your marketing to get your customers in, right? You have to be able to sell them. So their sales is a part of it too. You have to be able to talk the language to let people know that there is value in the product or service that you're delivering to help them understand that they should buy your product or service. And so you need that. Then you need to be able to fulfill it, right? So I'm going to talk about my guy, Garen, right here, who is a phenomenal developer, website guy, and he's got a new clothing line coming out, right? So once you market it and let people know about it, you then have to have operations to fulfill those orders. And, you know, a lot of times you can sell something that's really, really great, get a whole lot of orders for it, but can't deliver those orders. And then you have a whole lot of people mad at you. So you got to be really, really careful about that, right? And so then you actually wind up monetizing. So marketing, operations, monetization. You can't have one without the other. You really can't have any monetization, which means money or profit, money going into the bank without good marketing. You can't really have monetization without good operations. Again, if you sell a great fried chicken, by the way, y'all, I do sell great fried chicken. I haven't done it in a long time. But I've been out at a couple of vending spots years ago, and I sold my fried chicken, made a couple of dollars. But I had to be able to get the product, which we are having a shortage right now in meats across the board because of inflation. I had to be able to attract people to say, wow, his chicken's really good. It smells great. His place looks really clean. He's fun to talk to when I put my order. Or there are also some places that like to do the direct opposite, right? But that's a marketing scheme. Like there's a place in Chicago that talks greasy and dirty to all their customers, but people come there for the experience, right? But whatever the experience is, you got them there. Now you got to prepare whatever it is you got to give them, and then you have to exchange the money for it. And hopefully I got these glasses on. Hopefully you charge enough money to make sure you have a profit, because there's a lot of people who do not charge enough money to make sure they have a profit. They're undercharging. All right, so my teas and crews. All right, so my man Garen is over there. Check out my teas and crews on Instagram. Listen, y'all know I love a good Black-owned business, so I'm always down to promote them. Always. All right, so let's see. Did I miss anything else on the IGs? I will then come back to the YouTubes and to the Facebooks. All right, so some of y'all didn't hear me at first. Kelly was here. Hey, Kelly. Mitchell, how are you? Jocelyn, how are you? Clap, how are you? Karen's here. The real Raheem, I hope I said your name right. Forgive me if I didn't. But what's up to y'all? Thank you for joining. Welcome to Wealthy Wednesdays. DJ Smiley 73. Welcome. Listen, we do this every week. This is the Wealthy Wednesdays edition of the Finance Rebel Show. Now, y'all know I've also been testing out a daily show too, so be sure to check that out over on YouTube as well. I missed 2 days. I will be back tomorrow. If any of y'all have checked out the daily show, tell me what you think in the comments. All right, and so I see there's a super chat in the building. So yeah, let me get to that. Somebody came through heavy. Appreciate you. Appreciate Miss Edith as being a good clams lady. She says she liked and shared, so I appreciate that. Thank you. All right, chilling. Thank you. Okay. Miss Edith was talking about he discussed MLM. Yeah, he always discussed MLM. I'm not a fan of MLM, but I won't say MLMs are scams, right? MLMs you really have to be tuned into the product, and your sales and marketing have to be geared up. Peace to you, Jose. Thank you for joining. Handsome Wade Brody says jail, and they're popular. Yeah, they're popular. We love all these popular folks. Now, listen, I appreciate y'all. Tremendously. But my folks, my community has nothing on their numbers. Sometimes hundreds of thousands into 1 million. So, all right, John, I think I gave you that. I gave you the number. If you didn't get the number, it is 215-974-0058. It's scrolling at the bottom chat there. You can see it, 215-974-0058, if I didn't give it to you earlier. All right, so let's, oh, you got it, you get it. Mr. Harris. I got to shout out Mr. Harris. Mr. Harris is my OG. Appreciate this young man. Now, Mr. Harris has been married for many, many years, and I don't think he'll mind me sharing this. He was the first person I've heard say this. Now, I've heard other people say this, right? When he came to marriage, he said, Teddy Pendergrass got y'all fooled, talking about it's a 50-50 love. He said, marriage is not a 50-50 love. He said, some days I might bring 100. She may bring 100. Some days I might bring 90. She may bring 10, but we still got to equal 100. Some days, a lot of days, she bringing 110 and I'm bringing -10. He says, but at the end of the day, we all got to come to the table and we all got to try. It's not a 50-50 thing. We need to get rid of the 50-50 thing as it relates to love, marriage, black love. We need to come to the table bringing everything that we got. No holding back. No holding back whatsoever. So I appreciate you for that, Mr. Harris. Those are gems of wisdom that I never forget. And funny, like I always enjoy talking to my elders. Always, because, and I'm not going to say when you're humble, right? But I try to be humble. When you try to be humble, and if you listen, you can learn from anybody. So that's why I always hate those things that says never listen to a broke person if you're trying to get rich. Well, if you're really listening and you're really open to learn, you can really learn from anybody, even somebody who's been in business and been broke. You can learn what not to do from them. What not to do from them. All right, so Handsome Wade came through and blessed the brother. Appreciate you. Keep speaking empirical truth. Yes, I try. All right, Tashwana, Renee Muhammad, I hope I said your name right. She says, thank you for the shout out to journalism in the nation. Of course. I mean, I talk about the minister all the time. I talk about Malcolm all the time. I talk about black facts all the time. So you can't not talk about black wealth and not talk about the nation. It's impossible. It's impossible. Now, here's a little black fact. There's a book I've been meaning to read, and I haven't gotten to it yet. But there's a book I've been meaning to read, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So this book is called Build, Brother, Build by Reverend Dr. Leon Sullivan. And I bring this up in relationship to the Nation of Islam is because Reverend Leon Sullivan did what's called the 1036 plan. The 1036 plan, where Dr. Reverend Leon Sullivan, minister at Zion Baptist here in Philadelphia, PA, started raising money, pooling money, group economics, and then took that money and brought the first black-owned mall in the United States. And so I bring it up is because some people will say, if you really get into the history, I don't know what's true or not, is that he actually got the idea for the Nation of Islam. And so, but either way, they both have exhibited group economics and have done it. The Nation has done it where they brought farms and help people start businesses and do all kinds of things. And so I think, again, I bring up these things because I think we can't talk about money and wealth without cultural confidence. Because if we talk about money and wealth without cultural confidence, let me back up. If we talk about money and wealth without cultural confidence, we look like a bunch of goofy people who make money from our community and we take it and we give to other communities, which means then it's a drain on the black dollar, on black wealth. So keep that in mind, y'all. Stay in y'all history. There's a lot of lessons in your history. There's been some people telling us that we should forget history and we should only live in the future. As the Honorable Messiah Garvey told us that a tree with strong roots will bear beautiful fruit. And if you don't have good roots, you can't have good fruit. So never forget that. And if y'all can't get that analogy, I'll break it down for y'all even more if you need me to. All right, so Kevin says, question, should you have an LLC to put everything in your own name? No, absolutely not. No. Let's see, what good sound effect we'll go with that. You have a lot of these, what Tony the Closer was talking about, and what JT said. I hate to say it, Hotep hustlers that will say everything from having an LLC, corp, sovereign status, where in actuality, sometimes we just need good life insurance. Excuse me. Well, yes, good life insurance, but we need good insurance. There is a episode that I did with Rhonda Anderson talking about that very thing. About should everybody get an LLC for everything? And she said, no, this is a lawyer. And this is a sister who has not only her ESQ, but also her MBA. So she's a lawyer and an MBA all at the same time. So she's got the credentials along with the experience to show that she's qualified. And so, no, you don't always need an LLC, but I would always say, to cover my butt, right? Seek out legal counsel. I'm not a lawyer. I am not a lawyer. But that's one of the things, these companies that have great marketing machines that want to charge y'all $500 to do an LLC, that want to be all in your emails, sending you repeat emails, and just extract your money from your pocketbooks and wallets. That's what they're about. Yes, Miss Edith says we used to buy $1 worth of gas in the 1980s. Yes, I was a part of that era for a brief minute. I remember when gas was 95 cents a gallon. I could get $1, go to a party, dollar to holler, and be fine. Have a great time. Have a great old time. All right, $2 for Thunder. Thank you, sir. So Thunder says, thank you for the info and a little something for the tank. Yay, listen, I'll take those dollars. This gas is no joke. The other day I went and filled up and I spent it was like $25 for, you know what? I recorded it too. I meant to share it with y'all. I think I spent $25 with like 5 gallons of gas, somewhere around there. And it was a little less than half a tank. Stephen, how are you? So what's good, bro? Can you help me with March Madness brackets? I'll be honest. I spent all my time studying history, culture, buddy, and eating. So I haven't been checking into March Madness, even though I do enjoy a good basketball game. And from time to time, y'all will see me talk about basketball because I played a lot of it growing up. All right, chicken from up north. I'll try it, but just make sure. All right, so I'll be back up. So Thunder says chicken from up north, I'll try it. But it's just something about that Southern cooking. I agree. Hands down. All right, so I asked y'all a question about what do you think about the daily shows. It seems like Jose was the only one to mention that and heard the question. So he says, daily shows are useful, quick bites of financial information. Keep them coming. All right. I'm gonna see if anybody else likes it, Jose. All right. Miss Muhammad said, yes, she did. I'm not sure. What did I do? Sometimes I get going and I miss it. All right. Boss Man PG is joining us with the IG family. Gingerell 2622 is here. Johnny _ is here. And Hilp for Life is here. How are you? Welcome, y'all. All right, yes. Brother Bill. Yes. Check that out. All right, Tashwana said, Tashwana, am I saying your name right? Let me know. I do not like mispronouncing people's names. So he says, I know it well. It's a great book and well worth the read. Okay, I'm on it. I just haven't had time to do it. Yes, first black-owned male group economics. Yes, she is. Now, Jose told me he don't like the sound effects. All right, well, watch me your time. I don't want you to take away from your other productive activities. All right, Thunder says, I like the daily show. Keep them coming. All right, we'll see. Pronounce it incorrectly. All right, cool. I'm on a roll. All right, the daily visit tight. Keep them coming. All right. I've been trying to add a little bit of flavor into them because typically when folks talk about money, they don't look like us and they don't talk like us. So just try something a little bit different. And y'all know that actually comes from the show, right? I say we should be talking about money daily. We spend money daily. We think about spending money daily. How about we think about making money daily? or at least making our money work for us daily. Because technically, we really shouldn't be working for our money. Our money should be working for ourselves. That's the goal at the end of the day. There's a lag. I believe it. I believe it. Sometimes there is a great lag. There is a great lag. All right. So listen, Fed Reserve, Jerome Powell, Chair Fed Reserve, Jerome Powell raised interest rates today. Now I told y'all that like a couple weeks ago, right? And we knew it was going to happen. Now, what is the good side, the bad side of it? The thing is, inflation is running rampant. If you've seen it, like we've had chicken shortages, we've got lumber shortages. I was talking to a lady who has a construction company in the Philadelphia area earlier today, and for one of their projects, they had gotten some quotes for some wood for $3,200 about a month ago. They hadn't started the project yet. They went to go start the project. It's now $4,800. And so that's a 50% increase in less than 30 days. So things are crazy. Things are crazy right now. Let's see. I want to pull up something about interest rates. Interest rates are up now 25 basis points or 0.25%. So the Federal Reserve raised the rates as they said they would about a while ago. I'm actually disappointed because I think rates should be much higher. Now, John James, give me a little bit more when you say what are my thoughts on gold and silver. What specifically are you looking for from me? What specific are you looking for me? From me. All right, so let's do this. Give me 1 second, y'all, as I switch over. Now, the other thing that folks aren't talking about is mortgage rates. I talked about it a little bit earlier in the show that mortgage rates have been up. I talked to a mortgage person earlier today as well that told me that mortgage rates are up 4.6%. Now, if y'all been paying attention, about a year ago, let's say 9 months ago, mortgage rates were down to 2.75 on a 30%, or excuse me, on a 30-year mortgage, on a 30-year fixed mortgage. And so it's been very, very interesting what's been going on. So we've been living good for a while. I think those times are over. So I think winter is coming. The question is, are you ready for it? The question is, are you ready for it? Let's see. I'm getting the commercials. I need to go to the ads, to the spots where I don't have to deal with any of this because I have a bunch of subscriptions. All right. So Fed Reserve approves first interest rate hike in more than 3 years. See 6 more ahead. Yeah, but they'll all be like 25 basis points apiece. And so I don't know. So here it says, this is reported on CNBC, the Federal Reserve approved a 0.25 percentage point rate hike, the first increase since December 2018. Officials indicated a massive path ahead. I'm misreading a lot of stuff, excuse me. Officials indicated an aggressive path ahead with rate rises coming at each of the remaining 6 meetings in 2022. Members also paired expectations for economic growth. So when they say paired expectations for economic growth, they're saying that economic growth is going to slow down. Now, a lot of times when we are in war times, economic activity tends to speed up, but we will see. They are thinking that economic times are going to slow down because what's happening right now is interest rates are going to go up higher. It's not going to be as easy for people to get money for projects like mortgages. There's another thing that the Fed has been doing with their whole bond buying program that they said they're going to taper back. They've been buying billions and millions of dollars of mortgage bonds just to keep the mortgage markets afloat, to keep the mortgage markets flush with cash so people can get easy mortgages to buy homes. That's slowing down as well. So as that is slowing down, it's going to be harder for people to buy homes. But we've seen astronomical home prices over the last 12 months anyway. Everything needs to chill out. And if the economy slows down a little bit, I'm actually cool with that. Everything doesn't go up forever. Now's a great time to maybe pull some money off the table in terms of your stock gains, get some profits, save some cash. It's always a good time to save some cash and get ready for the next wave. Stay prepared, stay ready so you ain't got to get ready. So as we go back into this, here, let's see. You know what? Here, I'll play this clip. I will play this clip. But you know what? Before I play this clip, I don't think you're going to be able to hear it. So let's do this. Let's do this. One day, y'all going to help me get my own studio. And I'm going to have my own engineers behind the board where I don't have to do any of this stuff. I'm putting it out into the universe right now. I'm going to manifest all that. So I can just sit to y'all and talk to y'all and not worrying about hitting buttons and making sure I share the audio. And everything will be cool. Everything will be cool. And we can get the information out to the community the way that it needs to be. All right, so there we go. And here comes an ad.
Someone you can rely, who's always on your side.
Nationwide simplifies retirement planning, easy-to-use tools, so you can spend more time helping clients.
Nationwide is on your side.
Federal Reserve raising interest rates to a new range of 0.25 to 0.5%, up a quarter on the range. The Federal Reserve saying it anticipates ongoing increases to the Federal Reserve funds rate. It expects to do balance sheet reduction, quote, at a coming meeting, not specified what meeting, but specified that it is at a, quote, coming meeting. The Fed saying is prepared.
When they talk about balance sheet reduction, they're talking about, again, that bond buying program, which I was just referring to earlier, is that they will go out and buy bonds to help the mortgage market stay flush. Sometimes they will also buy bonds to keep some of the big banks flush as well. And so there's no run on the banks, meaning people go take all their money out the banks, bank go bankrupt, and it disrupts the system. So that's what they're talking about when they say, Federal Reserve balance sheet reduction. So I just wanted y'all to understand that.
Prepared to adjust rates as needed relative to risks in the economy. St. Louis Fed President Jim Bullard dissented, preferring a 0.5% increase. Now, onto the Fed forecast.
Now, if y'all hear that, they said the man dissented. So the Fed board is comprised of, I want to say, all these different districts. I want to say there's 9 board members. I could be wrong. If somebody could look that up for me real quick, I'd appreciate it. But they are different boards. Different members of the board, they get to vote on the raise. That guy dissented. He said he wanted a 50 basis point raise in interest rates or a 0.5 percentage point raise in interest rate. He thought that 0.25 was too meager, not enough. So let's get back to it.
If I've done the math right, which I think I did, the average Fed official, the median Fed official showing 7 hikes for 2022, up to 1.88%. Further hikes forecast for 2023 and 24 for both years. That would bring the funds rate up to 2.8% both years. So the key right there is that the median Fed official right now is expecting to raise the funds rate above the neutral rate, which is 2.4% in the summary of economic projections. The Fed also, of course, hiking the 2022 inflation outlook. The median forecast now at 4.3%. That is plus 1.7 percentage points. Further, it says inflation remains elevated and says supply and demand imbalances, along with a variety of other factors, are causing it. Ukraine invasion, they say, is causing human and economic hardship. Implications of the invasion for the U.S. economy are, quote.
So y'all see that there, right? And my super producer, Hayden, on the back, just told me there are 7 members of the board. So remember, I told you I'm all about facts. I got my man fact checking me on the back, so I don't give y'all any bogus ideas or information. So there's 7 members on the board. As we said, they're looking at maybe 7 rate hikes by the end of the year. So that's going to be a very interesting thing. Things are going to slow down. The economy is going to slow down. But there could be some other opportunities here, right? So in everything, in every change, in every bad, every up, there are opportunities. You just have to wire yourself to see those opportunities. All right, what's up, Trey? How you been, man? I haven't seen you in a while. Hickey, how are you? Alan, how are you? Kaiser Teach, how are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. So within those, man, we got the fact checkers in the building. All right. She then came with the stats, y'all. So y'all can look at it there. Listen, educate yourself about the Fed Reserve. I know a lot of people like to talk about it's a Ponzi scheme and it's all the kind of things, but just do your research and look at it. Actually, the Fed has kind of been a good thing over many, many years, over a century or so, right? Because the Fed was born out, and y'all know I'm always talking to the community because there's always somebody that's talking about Jekyll's Island or something like that. Before the Fed came, there was plenty of runs on the bank. I just talked about runs on the bank because there was no centralized way of handling money. Since that's happened, that hasn't happened. And why do you care if there runs on the bank? Well, sometimes when people do crazy things with their money, it hurts people. It hurts the consumer. So in that regard, it's a good thing. It's a good thing because average individuals can't do that for themselves. That's why government is here. But as I was saying, Fed Reserve rates going up 7 times, looks like it's going to top out at 2.8%. I think that's not enough. We need more. We need a lot more. All right, so Tashwana says, do you think we're going to experience a market failure like we did in 1987? Will it go from inflation to depression? I don't think so. But even with what was it, Black Monday in 1987, the markets bounced back in like 3 months or something like that. So it wasn't anything crazy. You need ebbs and flows. Ebbs and flows are like the season. Now, depending on where you live at, you might not have seasons. Everything just might be peachy keen all year long. But where I'm at in Philadelphia, right, we have winter, spring, summer, fall. Forgive me, I almost bust out in a Levert song. I was about to say winter, spring, summer, fall, I'll give you my all, plenty of love, but that's not what we're talking about today. But you need, seasons are there for a reason, right? Life, there's a time to sleep, there's a time to rest, there's a time to get up, there's a time to move. And the Bible says there's a season for everything under the sun. So you can't have an economic boom all the time, y'all. You just can't. What goes up must come down. And I will say this to folks also. When you look at the stock market is probably the greatest reflection of human emotions ever created. So you'll see when people are being greedy. You'll see when people are being really, really fearful. You'll see people when folks are a little giddy or a little trepidatious, right? We've talked about economic cycles here before. Maybe we need to do another show on that, another class on that. But if you follow economic cycles and you understand them, you can make money in the markets. You can make money in the market. So right now, inflation rates are going up. Who makes money when inflation goes up? Banks. Who makes money when inflation goes up? Some REITs, real estate investment trusts. Please don't. This is not a recommendation to buy or sell. This show is for economic purposes only. This is not legal advice. This is not tax advice. Before you look to buy or sell or buy any security, please seek the advice of an investment and or tax advisor. All right, now that we got that out of the way, because I don't want anybody saying, Uncle Barry, you told me to do this, to buy REITs. I ain't tell you none of that. That's all lies. That's mischief. That's devil talk right there. We don't do that. I don't do that. All right, but those are places that you can start to look for some opportunities to make money. There is a video I did about a month or so ago talking about savings alternatives, and I talk about preferred bonds or preferred stocks rather. That's a great place to also potentially park your money. Again, not an investment recommendation, just an idea, a form of education, even some entertainment for you to think about and how to pump up your savings account. Y'all should all go check out that video though. It's a lot of good stuff. Want to shout out to Thunder, because Thunder put us all on to iBonds. iBonds are paying 7% right now. Need to see what the reset is But I bonds are paying 7%. That's money guaranteed by the federal government. The federal government the U.S. federal government has never not paid a bill. So when we talk about risk-free rates, a lot of times we're talking about the U.S. government. And so you can get 7%, take no risk, and bank that money. So everybody take a look at that. Everybody take a look at that. Let me see. Hayden, can you find the link for that video for me? Madam Touch. What's up, sister? I ain't seen you forever. Yes, look up iBonds. There's a video. Madam Touch, you not staying in touch with my YouTube channel, sister. Where's the love? But no, I did a video talking about different things you can do to increase your savings account, because everybody is very much unsatisfied with the 0.5% that on average Americans are getting on their savings account. And I said, well, here's some other ideas that you can use to pump up your savings account. So I talked about I-bonds, which are federally issued bonds that you could buy. Like, you might want to think about the Series EE bonds that Nana and Grandpop used to give us when we graduated from school, and you had to hold them for forever to get the money to gain interest. Well, these are kind of the next generation or next revolution of that product. So they went from EE to I-bond. So I stands for inflation. We have plenty of inflation in the house these days. So look that up, I-bonds, and you can find I-bonds. I'm trying to think of where it is. And actually, why don't we do this? Oh, you do remember those? Okay. Actually, let's do this. Let's do this. I guess I can do this, right? And I don't have to even think about getting in any kind of trouble. So 3 ideas to earn 4 to 7%. Actually, I probably need to find a better way of a better title for that, because YouTube likes titles and click art or thumbnails that people like. So you could hold them for about a year, a minimum of a year, but without getting any kind of penalty. All right, so this is what we are going to do. I'm going to play my own video, right? I'm going to run my own commercial. So how y'all like that? So, and Madam Touch, I think you would actually appreciate this. So here's the video for everybody when you get a chance. Yeah, Thunder's still in the building, yeah. So gotta give shout outs to Thunder for that. Listen, I ain't gonna jack your idea, right? For number one, there's no monopoly on good ideas, right? And I feel like these are community conversations. So Thunder gave it to me here in the community, and so I'm going to share it with the community. That's number one. Number two, right? If we all make money together, just think about how powerful that can be. But like I said, I'm going to show y'all my own commercial. Give me 1 second as I share this on the screen. I'm gonna make sure I share the screen. Make sure I share the sound. Yeah, so that's right. I'm going to start playing my old videos. I'm not sure where this is at in the video, but since most people can't survive that $400 checking, that $400 emergency, I tend to say on the more conservative side. But that will be doing you all a disservice, because I know there are some of you who have $1,000, $10,000, $100,000 in savings in your emergency fund. You're fully funded and you're ready to go, and you're looking for more options. You're looking for more opportunities to make that money work for you and grow. And I get it. And so here I just pulled up a quick listing from bankrate.com, right? From bankrate.com, where they list out the most aggressive savings accounts that are out there in the nation, right? So right here we see Valley Direct has a 0.55% interest rate. All right, so y'all, I'm not going to make y'all watch this whole video. I'm just going to go through a couple of things. And we can read 4, right? Or all of the above, or just throw it all away in the trash. But here's 3 options for you to pump it up, to pump up your savings that aren't necessarily savings accounts, mutual funds, or CDs, which I kind of call certificates of death. So here are some of the things that I'm looking at when I'm giving some of my clients advice when we're talking about boosting up their cash accounts, right? It's a mix of, let's see, I-bonds, old school I-bonds. You know, that's what grandma and nana used to give out back in the day. You probably remember the EE bonds. Well, I'm talking about the I-bonds. These are the inflation bonds, all right? And you can buy those pretty easily. Also, I'm looking at preferred shares, and I'm looking at treasury bonds, inflation protected treasury bonds to be certain. Okay, so y'all saw that. I-bonds, preferred shares, and treasury protected inflation bonds. So all of those things basically, well, with the exception of the preferred shares, they all have no risk for the most part. They have no risk. And it's something you all should be looking to do, right? You don't just have to put money into the savings account and pray that it one day grows into a money tree. You could actually help plant those seeds, help water those seeds, and help it to grow and blossom into a money tree. But it takes work, it takes diligence, it takes some study. Sadly, though, I feel, these are just my feelings, that a lot of people don't want to do work. They just want it hand delivered to them. And that's not it at all, y'all. That's not it at all. Yes, I know. I mean, so listen, I know a lot of y'all don't know me from a can of paint. And I actually respect that and appreciate it. That's why I'm always humbled that y'all are here with me every week. But I am the same person in life and online, or what they call IRL, as I am online. So if I'm going to say something to you that's mean and nasty in person, I'll say it to you online. If I'm not going to say something mean and nasty to you in person, I won't say it to you online. If I want to say something nice to you in person, I'll say something nice to you online, right? I'm the same person, the same OG as Genuine used to say, right? But if I find some good information, I want to share it. That's just how I get down. I would want to share it in real life. I want to share it here as we online. There's no change in me versus online versus offline. It's the same. It's the exact same. I'm not trying to hoard anything. Now, no, you can't pimp me out and have me do a whole bunch of work and use all my ideas. But again, Thunder came here to the community, shared the idea. So who am I not to share his idea he shared with the community? That's not fair. That's not right. That's not righteous. Come on, y'all. So that's right. Each one reach one, each one teach one. A lot of people forget about the reach one part, though. Each one reach one, each one teach one. That's right. So any other questions tonight? It's 9:20. I've been rocking with y'all for about an hour now, a little over an hour. Y'all know I got to get my vittles. Got to get my vittles. Ford Swigger. Am I saying it right? Swagger? Help me with that. If I'm saying it wrong, correct me. I don't mind correction. I don't mind being checked, y'all. You should be able to check your brother and sister in love, and keep it pushing. That's something we need to go back and learn and understand. All right, Michael had a question too. Oh, and I think that's right. I did answer this one. So no, I don't think we're going to have a big depression, right? Remember, what's a recession? What's recession versus depression, right? Because all a depression is a series of, what's a depression? It's a series of recessions or exaggerated recessions. And so we might have some recessions. That just means when the economy stops growing, or is not growing as fast as GDP, gross domestic product. I want to say it's over 2 or 3 quarters. I forget the technical definition. Hayden, what's the technical definition of recession and depression? But you need some time to sit back, go slow, recalibrate, and figure out what's going on. Because again, all the inequality that us in the Black community, Latino community, brown people community of color complain about, a lot of times are exacerbated by this hyper duper expansion we have seen economically. Housing prices are through the roof. Affordable housing is a thing. There's really no affordable housing. So housing keeps going up because there's no home stock, meaning that there's no buildings out there available. What are you to do? It's just going to keep running. And do we expect good-natured, good folks to come out there and help everybody? No, I would think not. That usually doesn't happen. All right, so Michael asks, is it true that all Henry Paulson made $900 million gross 207 to 208 when he was head of the third, you talking about the U.S. Treasury? I don't know what Henry Paulson made. I don't think he made 900 million. Let's check the stats. You might be thinking about there's another Henry that is a hedge fund. I had to think about his name. There is a hedge fund guy. I can't think of his name though. Okay, so his net worth is estimated to be 700 million. I'm not shocked by that because Henry Paulson was also the head of Goldman Sachs at one point. And if anybody knows anything about Goldman Sachs, they get busy. And if you all have a chance, you should look up the Goldman Sachs story. There's a book, I can't think of the name of the book off the top of my head, but there's a book that talks about Goldman Sachs and how basically they were founded by a group of Jews that were tired of being pushed around Wall Street, tired of being discriminated against in Wall Street. And so they came together, formed a company, were able to make money and dominate Wall Street now. Amazing what happens when you stick together and work together with your strengths. So 700 million. He made 700 million. That's what the streets are saying. That's what they are saying. All right. So let me see if there's any other questions. All right. So a recession can be defined as a sustained period of weak or negative growth in real GDP output that is accompanied by a significant rise in the unemployment rate. Many other indicators of economic activity are also weak during a recession. All right, a depression is characterized as a dramatic downturn in economic activity in conjunction with a sharp fall in growth, employment, and production. Depressions are often identified as recessions lasting longer than 3 years or resulting in a drop in annual GDP of at least 10%. So that's the definition Hayden got for us. There's a lot of definitions out there for it. I know there's one that talks about how they define it, how BLS will define, Bureau of Labor Statistics, when I say BLS, how they'll define it. All right, TB's in the building. Said they gold right now. Yes, they are. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. All right. Question. Is it wrong to invest in MOEX? I don't think I know what MOEX is. I don't think I know what MOEX is. What is MOEX? Now my curiosity is taking hold of me. Oh, MOEX is Russian index. So listen, I have brought RSX. This is not a recommendation. RSX is an ETF that models or mirrors Russia stocks, which has been getting bust down. It's been getting beat up for a while. So no, I don't think it's wrong, right? It is a publicly traded security. You do know that this isn't going to last forever. And so your investing brain is saying, hey, can I get in now while prices are low? Can I ride the wave? And then when things come back up, because Russia still has one of the highest reserves of oil, one of the highest reserves of natural gas across the globe, and they're going to be doing business at some point. So no, I wouldn't say it's wrong. I wouldn't say it's wrong. Sometimes it's it's a hard thing for people to think about trading in the markets and what happens in real life. Now, I have a show. I've been wanting to talk about this show for a while now. I have a show that I love. It's called Billions. Comes on Showtime. That's not a commercial, but I think it's a great example of what Thunder is talking about. So if anybody has a chance, tell me, do any of y'all watch Billions? Now it's a show about, it started off as a show about a rich billionaire. It's actually still a show about a rich billionaire and how he battles with the New York assistant attorney, or the AG. What does AG stand for? The AG, which is some general. It's the top lawyer in the state. And so they're always battling. The top lawyer, the AG, is always trying to find dirt on these hedge fund billionaires. And the hedge fund billionaires are always trying to figure out ways to, one, get away with the dirt that they're doing, whether it's insider trading, whether it's market manipulation, whether it's undercutting their other competitors, even sometimes their fellow employees and associates. But it's all about that. I love the show. I think it's super duper well written. And so in this show, part of the storyline was that one of the guys who brought a bunch of stock when 9/11 happened. And this story is centered in the heart of New York City. And so he was kind of looked at like as a pariah or as an evil person, because he was able to see that the market was going to rebound at some point. And as the towers were getting crashed and attacked, he placed an order to buy, and it made him billions and billions of dollars. And so I don't think that's wrong per se. I do think there are some people who illustrated to make it happen. Like, for example, again, during 9/11, there were all these options that were brought on some of the airlines. And it was like the only way you could know that was going to happen is if you were part of the attack, or had something to do with the attack. And so I think that's evil. But if you are just placing a trade based on what you are seeing in the markets, no, I would say that is not equal. Some of y'all may disagree with me. Tell me, what do y'all think? Is that evil or is that not evil? But I don't think it's evil. I don't think it's evil. Well, the MSCI is just that's just an index. And the MSCI is actually a company that has multiple indexes. What is the MSCI? As the MSCI is very much for overseas or international, because you have MSCI EAFE, EAFE, which is Eastern Asian something. Here, I'll bring up MSCI. But they're a company, right? They're a company just like the Standard & Poor's, just like Dow Jones, and they produce these investment indexes. And so I wouldn't call them evil or not. So here, let's share this here. But I'm glad you asked that question about the MSCI. Because a lot of times acronyms are just thrown around and people are like, okay, it's this, but they don't know what it is. They don't know what it is. So the MSCI, let's see, do they have a breakdown of what MSCI is? Stands for something? I can't think of what it is. But again, it's just an investment research company. And so you'll see people that are investing according to the MSCI World Index or the MSCI EAFE and all of that. Indexes, here we go. Let's see. Again, if y'all have any questions, I'm getting ready to wrap up so I can get my vittles, y'all. Y'all not gonna have me out here passing out because I ain't had no food, because then all y'all gonna do is make memes of me and make fun of me. That ain't nice. So direct investing solutions. Now, if y'all really want to take y'all investment acumen to the next level, y'all should start reading some of these companies, the S&P 500. Look and see what the S&P 500, what it's made up of. Look at what the Russell 2000 is made up of. Look at what the MSCI is in their various indexes. I'm trying to get a definition of the indexes. I haven't looked at this thing in years. Give me 1 second, y'all. I'm going to find it. I'm going to find it. So solutions, indexes, index profiles. Let's see. Or should I be looking at fact sheets? Give me 1 second. 1 second. I'm trying to find some of the popular ones. So if you see this ESG, that's talking about energy solutions. So again, there's a lot of, let's see, fact sheets. And so each one of these indexes are made up of a grouping of stocks. Oh, look at that. MSCI World Business Cycle Clock Factor Select Index, right? I just talked about economic cycles. So MSCI Taiwan, right? So you can invest in some some countries, some regions. There's another one. All right, so here, you know what? This is a pretty big one. MSCI ACWI. Oh, they're gonna make me download the fact sheet. I don't want to download the fact sheet. Just wanted to look at it. Okay, there we go. All right, so MSCI ACW captures large and mid-cap representation across 23 developed countries and 25 emerging markets and EM countries, right? With 2,959 constituents, the index covers approximately 85% of the global investable equity opportunity set. All right, so here you have the MSCI ACW. Let me blow up the screen a little bit more for y'all. There we go. And so we'll talk about how these companies are performing. So again, this is just like a basket of different investments, of different stocks. And it talks about the characteristics and how they react. If you look here, it'll talk about the dividend yield. It'll talk about the PE. It'll talk about the forward PE. It'll talk about price to book value, things like that. And so again, if you go into this deeper, it'll talk to you. Here we go. The top 10 constituents: Apple, Microsoft. Why? Because they're some of the biggest companies in the world, and it's really hard to avoid them. But again, MSCI again is just a list. It's just a list of companies that you can invest in. All right, and yes, that is the book, Tashwana, Power. Ugly Bona's in the building. How are you, Ugly Bona? I hate saying Ugly Bona too, by the way. I know it's a whole theme and it means something. All right, so Jose says, I love that show, watch it faithfully. All right, so is it me or is it me and Jose are the only money nerds in the building, y'all? So Jose watches Billions right along with me. Hey, Sonny, how you doing? Did you get that tax return done? All right, so Thunder says, I see an opportunity, and he's talking about Russia. He sees an opportunity in Russia. Okay, cool. There's nothing wrong with that. When you see an opportunity, or what I would call in professional investing, a thesis, you have a thesis, and you want to operate or execute on that thesis, that could be a way to go. That could be a way to go. All right, I'm going to do this one last thing. I was contemplating not doing it, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. So in times of economic strife, global political problems, you will see, indeed, exaggerations in pricing, good, bad, or indifferent. And so, Thunder, I'm going to pick on you, Thunder, because you threw it out there. Hope you don't mind. But you talked about investing in Russia. So I've invested in Russia before in the past. Not really looking at it right now, but I don't necessarily think it's a bad idea either. So I'm going to pull up a chart real quick because y'all know I got to get my vittles. That's my bedtime. And so I want to show this to y'all real quick. Yes, Attorney General. Thank you. Attorney General. Yes. So I was struggling to figure out what in the world AG was. I got to get me some ginkgo biloba. You know, as you get a little bit older, some of y'all don't understand it all. Y'all still like 25 or younger. So for us old folks, that's OGs, we got to, you know, we can't remember everything off the top of the head all the time. So give me 1 second, y'all. I want to share this chart. And we're going to talk about this, right? So you do want to be able to seize opportunities when they present themselves. And that does not mean that you are taking advantage of people or exploiting people, because I am not for that. But the markets are a different beast. It's a different thing. So if I'm walking down the street and I see somebody on the sidewalk and they say they're hungry or they need water, I'm not going to go buy a gallon of water or what am I thinking of, y'all? I'm not going to go buy a case of water and then come back and sell them a bottle of water for $20. Me personally, I'm going to give them the water. However, if they are in the business of buying water and we have a water shortage, and I say, hey, I got to connect to get some water. Yeah, I'll go buy water and I will sell that business or whoever is in the marketplace to sell water. Do y'all see the difference? Let me know if y'all see the difference. I want y'all to understand the difference. So put a 1 in the chat if you see the difference, because there is a big difference. I think for so long in our community, making money has been demonized that I think we look at it in a perverted fashion, and that's a shame. That's a big shame. All right, so here, this is the chart, RSX. RSX is the ETF. This is not investment this is not investment advice or recommendation to buy or sell. This is not investment advice, y'all. Now, what I'm looking at here is what is this? This is an hourly chart. So each one of these bars, these are called candlesticks. Each one of these bars represents an hour's worth of information. An hour's worth of what is the high price for that hour, or the high price of that hour, or the low price for that hour, right? And we can see here, let's go back a little bit. We can see here, this is this is February 10th. It was at $25. Today, it closed at $5 and looked like 18 cents. Rough times. Rough times for these Russian stocks. And as we know, because if y'all been watching my dailies, right, I've been covering Ukraine, Russia, and all the U.S. companies that are pulled out of doing business from there, all the economic sanctions that are taking place over there. There is a lot that's going on. So there will be some economic turmoil that's going on. And economic turmoil equals stock prices falling. Normally. And so all of the factors are showing that it's going to be rough. Now, when you're looking at stocks, and again, this show is for beginners. All right, so I'm not going to go too deep with y'all, but I will say this because I think it'll be irresponsible for me if I didn't. When you're looking at stocks and you're looking at charts, you want to look at multiple time frames. And if you look, and you can see, I've looked at this chart before. Got some Fibonacci going on this, some trend lines. But okay, so when you go here, this now is a monthly chart. It looks totally different than the daily chart. So think about this. Remember, this perspective is everything in life and in investments. So if you go here to November 21st, it was at a high of, what was the high here? This was at, let me go back. Matter of fact, let me go back to October. So this is the month of October. This is a monthly chart. Each one of these bars reflects a month's worth of data from October 1st to October 31st. It will show the highs and the lows are all included in this. So that month was a high. That's why the bar is green. Excuse me, candlesticks. Did I say candle bars? Candlesticks. What am I talking about, y'all? So this is a candlestick. All right, so here the high was $33.39. This is in October. Now we go to November. right? And so I say you need to look at stocks if you're looking at charts from different time frames, because different time frames will present a different opportunity or present a different look on this. So we see here that this thing has fallen off a cliff. This ETF, this stock has fallen off a cliff. So it went from November at being at 32.55, and again in the month of March to being its high was $9.71. Excuse me, its high was $10.28. Its low was $5. So we see it's falling and falling and falling. Now, going back to Thunder's point, this is, I think, this is the lowest this stock has ever been. This is the lowest the stock has ever been. And so when this stock is this low, when the stock is this low, where else can it go? How low can it go? Now, when you look at it, some of the indicators are saying that, or would look like it might go lower. It could go to zero. It could. But the question you have to ask yourself is, what's the probability? What's the likelihood that the stock might go to zero versus going to 10 or going to 15 or going to 20? And so that's when risk reward comes into play, and you have to think about those things. Now, again, this is not investment recommendations. This is not investment advice. This is for entertainment and educational purposes only. But these are some of the things you have to think about. Now, I'm interested to see, what do y'all think about the question I asked? Was it a yes? Was it a no? I asked you to put 1 or 0 in there. Let's see. Talia Twine, how are you? I like your stuff. Y'all got some dope stuff. All right, John James, I appreciate this. Says it's a great the show got slow after the 4th season. Oh, you talking about billions? I thought you was talking about me. I was about to cry. I was about to have my feelings hurt. Yeah, the slow did get a little slow because the one guy, he had a death in his family, and so he left, and so they brought in a new guy. All right, so y'all getting what I'm saying, right? So sometimes seeing an opportunity in the market does not mean that, if seeing an opportunity in the market and you taking advantage of the opportunity in the market does not make you a bad person, right? Again, it's the difference between seeing someone on the street that wants water or needs water, right? And you basically trying to gouge them and sell them $20 versus being in the market and saying, hey, there's millions of people in the market that are bidding for these stocks, that are bidding the prices either lower or higher. And I think right now it's the lowest you want to have, because remember, the reason stocks go higher is because they get more buyers and sellers on any given day. The reason stocks go lower is because they typically have more sellers on the stock on this particular day. It's not voodoo, it's not magic, and no diss to voodoo. It's not any of that. It is pure science. It's pure art. So just keep that in mind. So when we're looking at this, as Thunder asked, is this a good opportunity? I think this is an opportunity that you have to at least think about, look at, analyze. I am not for knee-jerk reactions. I am not for just saying, hey, this looks good. It's not gambling. Investing is not gambling, y'all. I know a lot of people say it's placing bets on things. It is not gambling. At least it should not be. All right, so a lot of y'all got one, so y'all got what I was talking about. Making money in the market is not the same thing. Right. Thank you, Thunder. Yes, understanding turning a profit is different than exploitation. Yeah, but I always say, again, us making money, us building wealth without any kind of cultural competence is a fool's errand, is a waste of time. And so I'm always looking to marry the two. I'm always looking to marry what we're going on in everyday stuff, in everyday life, and what we can do with these markets, because the markets actually reflect life, and life reflects the markets in many different ways. All right, so let's see, how many other questions do we have? I still ain't got my videos, y'all. So Tally and Twine, how did you find the page? I know I follow you. I'm honored that you're here to follow me. My big bro's in the building, Mr. D. Lee. Mr. How you doing? What's up, bro? I think I got to work on my Shantae impersonation a little bit more, but you can help me with that. All right, so here, let me see. Okay, all right, so Miss Edith loves billions too. Listen, on IG, who loves billions? Who else loves billions? Sunny to the rescue. Thank you so much. I could not think of the name of it. That is the Morgan Stanley Capital International Index. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, and this is, well, it's not just for China Thunder. The MSCI, again, is just a bunch of people who sit around and look at stocks and the economy, and they come up with these lists to say, this is a good list to follow, this is a bad list to follow. The S&P tends to be tends to be more domestic, right? The S&P 500 is the 500 largest investments or investment companies or stock companies, publicly traded stock companies. MSCI is more global. It usually focuses on more international and global stocks. Yes, people. Thank you, Ms. Edith. I realize this platform is for educational and entertainment purposes only. That's it. That's it. All right, Ms. Edith says, what do you think about the stock AMC since we're nearing an endemic? I'll be honest. I was not a fan of AMC with all the folks pumping and dumping that, because they definitely inflated that stock. What's up, A-Rock? How are you doing? You know what, Sealy, I just recognize you know my buddy Spank or Gary. Small world, man, small world. Salutes to you. I saw you at his event for his past wife. It's very sad, but beautiful that he put that event on. So salutes to you for doing that. But, all right, so AMC, I was never really a fan of AMC, right? Didn't really have strong fundamentals, meaning they didn't have a good business in general. No, they were losing money before the pandemic even got into play. And so, but what they did was, after they made all that money, some of the management team was kind of smart and they reinvested some of it back. I still think it's going to be a very competitive market because you have so many production companies and movie houses going straight to DVD, if that's a thing. I don't even think that's a thing anymore, but straight to streaming, right? They're going straight to streaming. They're going straight to cable. They're not going to the movie houses anymore. Now, I'll be honest, I love a great movie. I do. And me and the family have gone to see a couple movies. I went to see the new Batman not too long ago. I'll just say this. I don't know how your supporting cast has better performances than the lead actor and it be called a great movie, but that's just me. That's just me, right? I don't get it. I think Bené's wife, what is her name? I can't think of her name. Her and her husband, not her husband, Lenny Kravitz and Lisa Bonet's daughter had a better performance than the Batman in this movie. So it didn't, I didn't like it, but everybody else in my family did. So I guess I'm a loner in that, and that's all good. Here, I pulled up AMC. My apologies to everybody that's on the gram. You can't see the chart, but I'll do my best way to talk you through all of this. So if we go back to when all that AMC stuff started happening, it was like January 2021, right? It ran up to about, what was this? I think it was at like $2. And I've covered this in previous episodes, y'all. But it was like $2, then it ran up to was it $13? And then it kept running. It ran up a little bit higher, a little $17. And then it got like ridiculous, like stupid ridiculous. And then ran up to $36. But nothing had changed with this company, right? This is just people buying it because they said they didn't like the hedge funds making money off this. All the while, a hedge fund had been invested in AMC for quite a long time, but that's a whole other story. Right. So where was that? All right. So yeah, it kept running, went up to 72, right? Went up to 70, $3 in June of 2021. Kept running, and then now what it's been doing, right? This is why I said when you're going to the charts, and I don't talk about the charts a lot because it shows for the beginners, but when you look at it, you got to look at it over multiple time frames. The time frame I'm looking at it now is monthly. That's more of a time frame of what's going to happen long term. And July, it just started falling, kept falling. Now I know they invested some money, they did some raises, but again, I'm not really in the AMC boat. I don't know that people are going to really start going back to the movie theaters like that. You have all these different things, all this competition from Oculus. Like, people were watching movies in the metaverse these days, right? They're watching it at home. Nobody wants to go and spend $100 on a box of popcorn and some juju beans. I don't see it. So, and again, I just confess that I went, but I'm talking about outside of myself, outside of just, a few people. I'm talking about wide scale. So I'm not a really believer in it. All right. So Sunny says she's good. Okay, cool. All right. Tashwana says I'm guessing you said beginning student as far as understanding money. If you are a beginning student of understanding money, I have a book. Miss Edith, what is the name of that book? I can't find that book. But there's a book, I believe there's a book that I believe all beginner people can get a lot of value from. I know Miss Edith has it. Miss Edith got it. She got it for her grandbabies. Her and her grandbabies like it. I can't think of the name of it. I know Miss Edith probably has it right there, but I'll get it to you. All right, John said it's okay. Y'all don't like billions either. Okay, Fly Girl 1908. Thank you for joining us. R.E. Morgan is here. Exploring Census here, and some others are here. Thank you for joining. All right, so y'all understand what I was saying about exploitation and profits. Cool. Saeed, how are you, brother? Kids in New York brought water during pandemic and sold to grocers and stores. We must execute. Yes. They are known as the New York Water Boys, sold to bodegas, supermarkets. I love it. Listen, we have to understand the money. Again, we all want to talk about how bad the man is treating us, how bad the system is treating us. Well, when is it going to stop? It doesn't just stop until you stop it. And listen, you can't make any real change without any money. We're saying that now with Russia. Russia's running out of food. You need revenue for a revolution if you're really serious about it. I ain't gonna talk too crazy, too heavy tonight because, I don't want nobody looking for me. But if you go back and you look at any great changes and turmoil, it wasn't all about money, but there was some money there. There was some even France supported the United States, right, during the revolution, right? That was about money. And it was also about them getting better position, but that's what happened. Right, Ms. Edith says sold to individuals as well, brought water in bulk from BJ's. Brilliant. That's the type of time we gotta be on. And again, we should always be trying to be in service, right? So you can be of service and make money. All right, Ellen Killenly says, think I have COVID again. God bless you. But your voice and charts are helpful. Soothe the raging fever. Thank you. Well, listen, take care of yourself. Drink plenty of water. Get you some vitamin T. And just take care of yourself. I'm not a doctor, but from what I understand, those things work. All right, Tashwana gives me a 1. I'm getting 1s. All right, John is laughing at me. I said something crazy. All right, all right, yep, we got that already. All right, so Ugly Mona says, it's too risky to invest in already low stocks. The prices are going to continue to fall. So is that a question or a statement? And so I would say it depends on what your overall time horizon is. When do you need it? Let's say you don't need that money for 20 years. Is now too early or too soon to buy low value stocks? It might be a good time to buy, because you know the probability of this thing lasting for 20 years probably won't last. And so when Thunder looks at this and he goes through his process for picking the investment, he has to ask himself, well, when do I need this money? What's my time horizon? When do I think it can execute? All right, my Ugly Mona says, won't it be great to buy stocks and put them in a wallet like you do with Bitcoin? Yeah, but the brokerage is just as good as a wallet. I know some of my crypto people are probably going to go crazy if I say that. But, you know, for the average person who's buying crypto through an exchange, that exchange ain't that secure, right? So we've seen that. We've seen exchanges get hacked. Thank you. Zoe Kravitz. I couldn't think of her name. Yeah, so Zoe Kravitz, I felt, had a better performance in Batman than the vampire dude who's now Batman. Northern Bell, how are you, lady? Welcome. All right. Helen Killney says S&P 500, a good one, index or mutual fund. I hate mutual funds. All right. Charles Schwab charges a fee for it. Is it worth it? Great content as always. Well, thank you, Helen. Helen, I've been seeing your comments. I appreciate those. You've been giving me great comments and giving me great encouragement. So I appreciate you. Index or mutual fund. So a lot of people use these terms interchangeably, and they're not interchangeable. Index funds and mutual funds are index funds sometimes, but they're not always index funds. Same things for ETFs, exchange traded funds. A lot of them are indeed index funds, but not always. So I don't have any problem with the S&P 500. Again, the S&P 500 is just the 500 largest trading companies in the United States. If you think the United States is going to be well economically for the rest of your investing career, the S&P 500 could be a good investment opportunity for you. There are others, though. And the other thing you have to realize is that a lot of investment companies will use the S&P index. The S&P is just an index, just like we talked about earlier with MSCI, and people will use them. Vanguard comes to mind, right? And this is not a plug for Vanguard. They don't pay me for any advertising dollars or anything like that. But they use the S&P 500 and a lot of their ETFs and a lot of their mutual funds. So how can I best think of it like this? So you have a car and you have the GPS. So think of the index funds as like GPSs, and then your investment dollars are the actual car, if that makes sense. And so, I mean, Charles Schwab charges a fee for it. A lot of them charge some kind of fee. You want to try to find low-cost manufacturers or low-cost investment vehicles. Vanguard is one low-cost. I think Charles Schwab has some low-cost vehicles over there, but I'm not totally sure. Yeah, it was Eva. I was channeling my inner Eddie Murphy. Go give me a pack of Juju beans and some bonbons. I don't know why Juju beans and bonbons came to mind. I haven't watched Raw in quite some time, but I do think it's probably one of the greatest comedian acts ever. All right, so cool, no problem. Beginner, right? How Money Works. How Money Works is the book I would suggest all beginner investors, beginner people who want to learn about money. That is a book I recommend everybody get. It has a lot of pictorials, right? Pictures with definitions that will help you understand money, not just money about stocks, but understanding the whole thing. Because listen, if you want to become a good investor, I don't care if you want to be a good cryptocurrency investor, a good stock investor, a good real estate investor, all of them, you want to know the great ones, what all the great ones have in common. They understand the entire marketplace, from stocks to bonds at a high level, right? They may not know the micro, but at the high level, they understand what's going on. From stocks to bonds to crypto to Bitcoin, they understand it. So it behooves you to invest in your education. Mr. PDQ, what's up, brother? Ramon B, how are you? Dre Terry, how are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, so Miss Edith has the book. She loves it. She has some pictures. My 7-year-old reads it to her younger siblings during the pandemic. Oh, that's dope. All right. I'm late. I'm definitely watching the replay. All right, I appreciate that. Feel free when you're going through the replay, just hit hashtag replay and ask any questions you might have. All right, Ms. Edith says, now the Water Boy's mom brought a water filtration system in upstate New York. Oh, that's awesome. I'm going to tell you, I'm a product of a family-owned business. I think one of our superpowers is getting into more family-owned businesses, having our brothers and sisters make money amongst themselves, literal brothers and sisters, right? Because imagine if each one of these households is able to become its own economic center and then connect with some of the other economic centers and some of those other families and do things together. What can really stop you? And I'm not going to nerd out, but think about the formations of people, right? From the early times, from small hunter-gatherers to families to little small villages to then clans, which was a collection of families, and then to tribes and nations. Think about what you can do with that. It can go a long way when you actually have some unity going for yourself. But in order to do that, you got to have an understanding of the common goal. You must be able to communicate. You must be able to resolve issues, right? You got to be able to see the common goal, and you got to be able to appreciate what the common goal can do for everybody. Because sadly, while everybody is thinking about just going for themselves, they can't see what the common goal is of the people. And listen, there's nothing wrong with being a strong individual, but there's nothing wrong with being an awesome group also. The song comes to mind. I'm a movement by myself, but I'm a force when we're together. Can anybody name that? I'm a movement by myself, but I'm a force when we're together. That's mighty. That's mighty. All right. No problem, Helen. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm humbled that you even take the time to stop through. Do you but multiple S&P 500 or just one? I would say just get one. Here's the problem. Having multiple, and this is what a lot of financial advisors do or have done. They'll recommend you have all these different mutual funds that are following the same index. And then you have what's called overlap. So in these same indexes, you'll have Apple, which is probably the top holding in all S&P 500s. I'm almost certain it is. And then you'll have the Apple producer in Vanguard, the Apple producer in BlackRock, the Apple producer and anybody else who makes them. And you're buying the same thing over and over again. And what happens is you're multiplying your risk. Because investment is supposed to be about risk and reward. You're supposed to try to get as much risk as possible without taking on more reward. And so here you're buying, let's say, the same thing with Apple 3 times over. So that means all 3 of your investments move the same way Apple moves at all times. You want to be able to separate that out, rather. Atlanta is me. How are you? Welcome. Yeah, go with indexing. Yes, I do believe in indexing. But you still need to understand what's going on in the underlying index. Right, benchmarking, Jose, is the reason why they use some of the indexes for benchmarks. That's part of the reason why they use it. So what is charged? What does Schwab charge $49 for, Helen? Right. Okay. So Samuel, how you doing, Samuel? Excuse me. Ooh, that was rude. Charles Schwab has its own S&P 500 with only 0.02 expense ratio. So that's like charging 2 cents off of every dollar. So there is a fee that that Charles Schwab is saying. So Samuel's saying Charles Schwab is charging that 0.02 expense ratio. What's up, Jack? Beats 2, 1237. How are you? Welcome. All right. Miss Edith says, yes, Eddie Murphy is one of the greatest comedians. Yeah. Steve Harvey said that last night during an interview with EYL. Yeah. That interview with EYL was pretty thorough. There's something on there I wanted to talk about. He said he lost $22 million in tax debt. I don't even know how that's even possible. Like that's crazy to me. But I'm sure I will be talking about that very soon in these next videos to come. I will talk about it tonight some more. But y'all didn't have me out here rocking for like 2 hours. Y'all not tired of me talking yet? All right, Sonny says she totally agrees. All right, Ms. Edith says nerd out. All right. Northern Bell says fire. I'm not sure what that's for, but I appreciate it. Thank you. Yes, Fab, Brooklyn. Yes. But it was Neo. It was Neo's song. Yes, Sonny, it was Neo's song. Fab was there though, so we got to give Fab his props. Philly Amplify says the song is "You Make Me Better," Fabulous and Neo. That is correct. That song, so a lot of y'all don't know this. I'm really like a music junkie. I probably, if I wasn't doing this or didn't become like a lawyer, I probably would have been a music producer or something. But that song was originally written for Beyonce and Jay-Z. If y'all know anything, y'all know Neo has written a whole lot for Beyonce. Yes. Yep. But I mean, that's the same thing, y'all. It's the same premise, right? When two become one, right? The whole point of marriage and why marriage is a cheat code is that y'all come together on the same page. Marriage is about money, but it's also about business. And so when you combine your resources together, you can move so many other things. You can literally move mountains. But you got to be on the same page, right? If we look at, like, if we talk about pop culture right now, if you look at what's going on with Kanye and his soon-to-be ex-wife Kim K, like, they moved a lot of stuff together. Now, I know y'all might not like Kim K, so I'm not going to go too deep into that. And you might not like Kanye. Shoot, some days I don't like Kanye. But when you look at what they did as an institution of marriage, they were able to move some things. That's all I got. That's all I got on that. By the way, I think D.L. Hughley and Trevor Noah are going to keep waxing Kanye with all the jokes, and there's nothing he can do about it. So he should just shut up, but we know he's not. So, but all right, so John James says, check out Ray Dalio of Bridgewater Hedge Fund. He has a YouTube channel discussing the last 500 years in capitalism. Yes, I am a big Ray Dalio fan. That is a fact. Discovered Ray Dalio when I was an institutional manager because they have the largest hedge fund in the world. He has he invests in the same style in which I was investing at the same time, which is global macro economics. So basically figuring out what's going on around the globe from a macroeconomic standpoint, figuring out ways that you can exploit that or take advantage of that or participate in that and do that. So I'm a big fan of Ray's, but love to have Ray's level of money though. Oh, all right, Hayden. Thank you for the info. So Hayden just told me he got Kanye who we're speaking about, got suspended from Instagram for calling Trevor Noah the black and white animal animal thingy. I don't want to say the word. I actually hate the word. So he got banned, as he should. He should get banned. I'm going to say this, though. I am going to say this. Kanye and Kim K are both marketing geniuses. And I believe they do these things. I do believe Kanye has mental health issues, which he's admitted to. But I also believe he uses many of these moments to ramp up the marketing and promotion for his and hers stuff, products, shows, projects, whatever you want to call it. Kanye has a new album out. From what I understand, Kim K has a new reality show coming out. So it's quite convenient that they're having all this debate in public, and they've never done this before. Okay, Tobias share. Great tip, Tobias share. Not totally sure I'm following you, Alan. Yes, you make me better. That's one of my great songs right there. All right, Michael says I wore him out. He says I'm going to bed. So wait a minute, I can't be beating y'all. Y'all can't be let me beat y'all. I'm up longer, broadcasting longer than y'all can roll. All right, so Michael says, good night, CE. Got to get the dogs ready for bed. Thank you for a great show. Quality financial insight. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you being a member here with the clan, with all of us here. Yeah, you got to go get your vittles. Yes, I do. But y'all see how I keep going. And y'all know I ain't really missing no meals, so I am hungry. But I'm just keep going and going. All right, Sonny says, that was crazy. Such a great interview. I believe you're talking about EYL. Yeah. His Stevie account, but so I only saw a clip. I haven't watched the whole thing. I haven't watched the whole thing, but some of the things didn't make sense. Like I saw the one clip. I wish I could get the one clip. Actually, I can't get the clip. Give me 1 second, and this will be the last thing I will talk about for the night. We can end the night off. So just bear with me for 1 second. I can get the clip because somebody got me the clip, and I was going to talk about it earlier. But and I'm a big fan of Steve Harvey. I know some people don't like him because he wrote the book and all that, but I think anytime, well, one, I'm a big fan of comedians. I don't know if y'all picked up on it earlier, but there was a guy, gentleman by the name of D. Lee, who made the impression that whole "How You Doing" that Wendy Williams did. He was on the stream earlier, but he's actually the one who created that. He created that. And so through him and some other people, I've met a lot of comedians over the years and have great respect and admiration for comedians because they tend to think outside the box. And I like people who think, especially those who think outside the box. But, Steve Harvey, has made an empire for himself. So I know some people want to say he did this and he did that. Maybe I don't know the whole story, so I don't like to have judgment on people whose things I don't really know about. That's why you'll never really see me talk about pop culture too much. Because one, it ain't none of my business unless it's harming the people in the community. And then two, it's like another form of gossip. So, but let's look at this and then we'll end the night off here. All right, so I don't know if I turned the audio on. All right, give me one more chance, y'all. Give me one more chance, y'all. All right, here we go with the Steve Harvey clip. Now, this is a clip from EYL, Earn Your Leisure. Shout outs to them. They're doing a great job of highlighting money and excellence in the community. So this here says Steve Harvey's, the clip is about Steve Harvey on owing the IRS $22 million after being robbed by his accountant. And this isn't giving me any audio. Why aren't you giving me any audio? Oh, because it's muted. Instagram, you like it to be difficult.
She had found on the floor all my tax forms for 7 years, signed and with the checks stapled to them. So I'm thinking, I done signed and I done stapled the checks. Well, they were cashing the checks, keeping the money, and not turning in the tax form.
You didn't know who the check was being made out to?
Oh, to the government.
So how did they cash it?
Well, they didn't cash it. They took the money out of the account that matched the exact, because I wasn't watching it.
So
like
you could just see 100,000,
I just 100,000, 600,000
yeah, you looking at
deducted.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking it's the check. Little did I know, it was some people taking the money out.
For 7 years?
For 7 years.
How much money did that?
I ended up owing $22 million. My accountant died, and a girl that worked for him called my lawyer and said, we have a problem.
We have a problem. You said we have a problem. You damn right, for $22 million, we got a problem. But, so there's a couple of things here. He said he did the return. He signed it. He gave them the check. So then the accountant you know, maybe didn't send a return, because it sounds like they didn't send a return and they got the check. Now, there's a lot of ways to get the money from that check and wire it out of the account, because you have access to the routing information and you have access to the account number. And who knows what else they had Steve sign. So that could have left him open to being taken advantage of. So that's kind of what he's talking about. The thing that has my mind boggled is if they didn't file the returns for 7 years, I would have think they might have came after him a lot sooner. But I don't know the timing of all of this. I don't know when all of this happened, right? But again, 22 million over 7 years because he's dealing with a shiesty accountant. That's rough. That's gotta hurt. That's gotta hurt. But the fact that he's able to bounce back is even more of a testament to his ability to hone in on his craft and do his thing and make people laugh. I mean, he is one of the kings of comedy. So I don't think you can really take that seriously. But what do y'all think about Steve Harvey and owing the IRS $22 million? I plan on getting some more context on this, and maybe I'll do a separate YouTube video on it. But y'all should all go watch that video on Earn Your Leisure as well. Now I'm going to finish up these comments and get out of here. All right, so Tashwana's concerned about my me getting diabetes. No, I'm not going to pass out. Listen, like I said, just don't talk about me if I do. Like how Kanye is talking about D.L. Hughley as he fell out when he had COVID. All right, so Ms. Edith says he said don't allow anyone, not even your wife, to have access to your bank account. I don't agree with that, but that's a whole other thing. Could you type the book recommendation? I cannot remember. Investment for Beginners. It was Ms. Edith just gave it to us. Ms. Edith just gave us the book. How Money Works. How Money Works. Right. It was How Money Works. You know what? Let me do this. I need to become an affiliate for this book. As much as I talk about it, they need to cut me a check. So How Money Works. You can get it on Amazon. Give me a second. My internet is moving slow. How Money Works, and I'm going to share the screen so you can look at it. How Money Works, the facts visualized. Excuse me, How Money Works, the facts visually explained. So I'm going to share this here. The book on Kindle is $9.99. The hardcover is $13.59, and there is an Audible book, so you can listen to it on Audible. I don't know if I would recommend listening to it on Audible, but I would say it would be great if you brought it either on Kindle or on hardcover. I would recommend the hardcover though. I would recommend the hardcover. So again, How Money Works, the facts visually explained. I think everybody should get that book. I think everybody should get that book. Again, if you're really serious about your money, being the master of your money, taking control of your money, you need to understand it, not just investing, not just stocks, but understand how it all impacts you. All right. How Money Works. Everybody should get that book. Now that was free game, right? It's free game Wednesdays, as everybody likes to talk about these days. All right. So let me get through the rest of these so I can really go get my vittles. Hayden, if you got to go, it's cool if you can leave now. It's all right. I know you got to get ready for school. All right. So Sonny says so many people get messed up with their taxes. That's why I appreciate you and what you do. Well, thank you, Sonny. Do me a favor. Spread me out to the masses so I can help even more people. All right. Northern Bell says so true about marriage. Cool. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Fly Girl 1908 says there's so much more to that story. Yeah, I think so too. The Light 15 says 15. But listen, there have been a lot of unscrupulous people. Bill Cosby, and I know Bill Cosby is not in vogue these days, but one of the best things Bill Cosby told Oprah Winfrey was sign your own checks. Sign your checks. JT Coins is in the building. Shout out to JT Coins. Sign your own checks. He was right. Now, I wouldn't go to the same extreme of what Steve Harvey said, and I haven't seen it, so I don't want to take it out of context. But what somebody said in In the chat, they said don't give your wife access to your bank account. It depends. It depends what's going on. If you can't trust your wife, your spouse with your money, you might want to think about why you're marrying them in the first place. And yes, people do change over time. But on the onstart, if you cannot trust your spouse with your money, you should probably ask yourself why you're going to marry this person, why you're going to because this isn't arranged marriage. We're not in those days anymore. By the way, arranged marriages tend to last just as long, if not longer, than these marriages we have these days. But I ain't trying to start no trouble. If you can't trust your person with your money, you need to ask yourself, why are y'all together in the first place? All right, can two walk together except that they be agreed? Yes. All right, Steve already said that the union, his wife helps him comedy attire business. So she's a partner, right? But all right, Ugly Bona says, no, your voice is soothing. All right, I'm really going to have to start looking into doing voiceover work. All right, so Ms. Edith says he posted DL's address on social media allegedly. Yeah. You know, I'm be honest. I do think Kanye is a musical genius. I think Kanye is also a political kindergartner, though, because he doesn't read. You can't sit here and tell me that you understand all these subjects and you have insight on all these subjects when you haven't really done the research on all these subjects, or you wind up doing what's happening is just parroting people's stuff. Because one of the things that he's been doing is saying DL's a leftist, so he's invoking political, quote unquote, commentary on air. What DL said, I kind of agree with DL. I don't know if I'm going to it with this show, but I kind of agree with it. It's not about left or right. It's just about, he said if that was his daughter, it would be a problem, and I agree. But it is what it is. All right, so Ugly Bona says, yeah, I can see you producing music, coaching, negotiating college contracts and investments. All right, thank you. I'm glad you have faith in me and that much faith in me. All right, T-Bot, how are you? Welcome. All right, so I'm going to go kind of quiet. I was about to say quiet. I'm watching too much Buck Bunny, y'all. Miss Edith says, same with Willie Nelson, Sammy Davis, etc. They only allow the person to have control over their finances. Ugly Mona says, I love Kanye. I don't. I'm really disappointed in Kanye. I'm really disappointed in, so let me back up. I do love Kanye. And I love all that God-given potential and talent that man has, but I feel that he's wasting it. And he's been wasting it. He called Trump his daddy. That, to me, you can't overlook that. As a black father, I have issues with that, but I'm not going to get into that. Sonny says it was a long one, AYL interview, but that is why you have to check the work on even your accountants. Yeah, you do, and that's why you need to have a level of understanding. You don't have to be a master, but I'm going to talk about that issue and how that issue can be remedied, right? Knowing if your accountant is actually following your tax returns. I'm going to do a video on that. I think it'll be very helpful for a lot of people. That's sad. Yep. Not paying attention. That's probably how it gets so far that they go to jail. Yeah, I mean, listen, Steve is doing major things, right? So none of us can really even fathom how much stuff he has going on, right? So I always laugh at people when they say, well, he could have did this, or he could have did that, but how do you really know? Because you ain't never been in that position. You don't even know anybody in that position, but you're just making assumptions. But all right, so as it says, he definitely wasn't a good steward of his money. At the time, listen, we all come up short sometimes. All right, I owe IRS $1,600 and cried. That's crazy, Steve. Yeah. Yes, how money works. All right, my flu band's kicked in. I'm going to sleep. All right, feel better. Drink water, get some vitamin D. All right, Sonny says you have to be able to trust your spouse. You would think. And again, people show you who they are. So if you change that, then you need to adjust accordingly. Our Ugly Bonus says we should buy the book as a group and discuss it chapter by chapter through your show. We've done that to a certain degree. But everybody now has been talking more about this investment club. And so we will definitely be talking about it as we go through the investment club and people start getting involved with that, because I need everybody to be on the same page. All right, Northern Bell says, right, it would be horrible to be married to someone I couldn't trust. Yeah. Yep, the groups should make one group investment and one S&P stock. Maybe once we get to the investment club phase, we can do that. Yes, without trust, we have nothing. Exactly. Ayana, I won't say your name right. Welcome. Kanye has mental health issues. Yes, he does. And I pray that he gets it together. So everybody says Kanye needs yes people, or Kanye has yes people, or Kanye needs a group of people. Kanye has probably the most influential Black people around him already, and he doesn't listen. Why do y'all think him and Jay-Z fell out? I think he just doesn't listen. And so you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink, sadly. All right, so I think I got all your questions answered. Everything's answered. Listen, Jerry Early always coming through for me. Thank you, Jerry. Appreciate you. So again, thank you for Jerry. Thank you to who else? Somebody else gave me a super chat earlier, but thank you, Jerry, for the super chat, for the love. Appreciate you. And I believe it was handsome. I can't remember his name. Handsome something gave me a super chat earlier. I appreciate you though. All the while, I appreciate you. I'm humbled that you guys are always here. You guys and you ladies are always here for every episode. Like I said, news coverage will start back again tomorrow. Please go follow the YouTube channel, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we will definitely get things going. All right, a couple more questions. All right. So, I mean, the IRS may be not paying attention to celebrities like they do us. No, they pay attention. That's why Fat Joe's been in jail. Lauryn Hill's been in jail. Wesley Snipes been in jail. They pay attention. High profile. No, thank you. All right, awesome program tonight. Wish I had money to give. No, Miss Edith, for the record, is one of my biggest givers, one of my biggest supporters. So I appreciate you. I would do this for free. So don't feel bad at all. Tashwana says, good night, family. I homeschool my children, so I'm going to sign off. Thank you for a wonderful discussion. Go eat. Yes, ma'am. And hey, if you homeschool your children, get that book, How Money Works, and talk with them about that money. It will definitely help them. And you. So, again, everybody, I appreciate you all. Everyone have a great night. I will be back tomorrow with the news. Like I said, if you are looking to stay in touch with me, text me. Y'all know how to get at me. 215-974-0058. Again, 215-974-0058. And until next time, y'all all be great. Later, y'all.